Welcome to Skinterviews by Nathan and George. I am the George of the equation, and this is
Nathan.
We are so excited to be starting our new platform, a platform where you get to know the professionals in our industry in a personal way, in a personal matter, with stories about their lives, what led them to the profession they are today, and how they're facing the challenges of what we are all facing globally and what that means for them personally and their business. I'm going to start the show off today by thanking Nathan, who is my co-host, for all the hard work you put into this and for being such an amazing person to be doing this project with. I really do love you, man, and I can't wait to see what's going to come out of all this. We have I don't even know how many interviews we have lined up right now, and we have some big names that are on, and we've got a big name on today. Huge. I recently went to his newest clinic. We met before this clinic in his previous clinic, and his newest clinic is one of the most beautiful clinics, I think, in Canada, if I dare say. And I've done some work in the US, and I have seen very few places that are up to that standard. As a professional, he's incredibly talented at what he does, whether that's surgical and hair transplant. I mean, he's going to let you know all that. But what I love most about our guest today is that he's a family man, and his family ethics and his family values really do extend beyond his wife, who's exceptional and beautiful, and his partner and his 3 children. It extends into his workplace. And when you go into his workplace, whether you're a client, an affiliate, a business partner, in my case, an educator, business development manager, you really, really feel the warm vibe of being around somebody that values you like family because you are in his home. His home is his business. His business is his home. The people around him are family. There's a lot of love there. I could go on and on and on, but you don't want to see me. You want to see him. So without further ado, welcome our first guest, Dr. Cory Torgerson from Sovereign MD.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I get a little starstruck every time I see you. No matter how.
You guys are awesome. I was like, who is this amazing person? I was like looking, where are they? That's awesome. You guys have particularly good hair today.
Thank you.
There's a lot of hairspray holding down the overgrowth.
Seriously, I hear you.
COVID hair is something to be reckoned with, you know?
Seriously, COVID hair, it's a thing.
How have you been?
I have been really, really good. I have to tell you, this has been an interesting season, and we're still in it, but it's been really, really good. I have to tell you, a little stressful, but I mean, it's real. And when life gives you lemons, what are you going to do? You're going to make lemonade.
Yeah.
Or margaritas.
Limoncello. There you go.
Well, we're gonna start the interview by going right back to when you were a baby. First day you were born.
Yeah.
The name Cory Torgerson. Is this the name you were given at birth? Is there a middle name? Is there meaning behind your name?
So I actually did a little bit of digging and saw the meaning in my name myself. I don't think my parents really thought much of it. They just liked it. But, Cory actually means cave dweller. And I thought that was interesting, cave dweller. And my middle name is Stephen, and it means victor. And my last name is the coolest. It's Torgerson, which means son of Thor. So isn't that super? I know, right? Yeah, this is how I impress my kids. But, there are different seasons in our life. And what I love about, teasing apart your name, because names are super important, aren't they? There's seasons in your life when you're in that cave, when you're digging down, when nobody sees you, when you're working hard. And then there's seasons in your life when you are the boss and you are the victor. And I feel that that's my new season. I'm calling that one. There you
I
go.
don't know. I've always known you to be the boss. You have been in a long
No,
season, man. You've
no,
been.
that is my wife.
I love Nadine, your wife. She's amazing, and so yeah, she's a boss. She's definitely a boss. I like that about her.
Yeah.
Were you named after anybody specifically, or this was just the name they loved and they chose Corey Stephen?
I think my middle name is named after my grandfather, Stephen. So, but my first name is it is original. So,
Love it. Were you born
yeah.
in Canada in Toronto?
I'm a Calgary boy. I was born in Cowtown, and nobody believes me, but I grew up going to cowboy camp and riding horses and all that. Yeah, I'm from Calgary.
You're
I'm
like
a stamp here.
John Wayne, a modern day John Wayne, eh?
You gotta get in touch with your cowboy sometimes, you know.
Love it. So, is your parents, are they still in Calgary? Are they here with you now?
They're still out west. Yeah, they're still out west. So I actually came out to Toronto after a good chunk of my schooling, my undergrad and my PhD, and I came here for medical school. And then I stayed and I did residency and then fellowship. And then met my wife, and this is where I was going to be. But yeah, I'm from the West. It's in my roots. You know, there's a flavor out there that colors you a little bit, I think.
Any siblings?
I'm in the middle. I'm a middle child. Yes, I have one older brother and a younger sister, and we're all very different.
Are
So
they in the medical field?
No, I'm the only one. I'm the only one in my family. And everyone was like a little bit, gobsmacked when I said I wanted to become a doctor. They're like, what? What? You don't like blood? Um, so, my father said, Corey, you're artistic. I don't know that that's for you. I'm like seriously, what father tells their son who wants to be a doctor, maybe try something else? It's there's so many different things you can do, and you can express who you are in so many ways.
So tell us a little bit about the early days in Calgary. Like, tell us about elementary school and what it was like growing up in the Calgary area.
Um, my growing up was very suburban. I think as most people's are in Canada. Um, and I grew up in a very loving family, lots of opportunities. My dad was sort of a serial entrepreneur with a strong work ethic, and true story. I think my first job was 4 or 5 years old. My dad would have me bussing tables in the restaurant and washing dishes in the back, and we just thought that was normal. Child labor a little bit, but yeah, I think you learn how to work hard by looking at your parents and seeing how they do it and hustling a little bit and so a very happy childhood, and yeah, lots of experiences. My parents were very experience motivated, so we traveled lots, we ate out lots, and experienced food and all that kind of stuff.
Cool. So you mentioned just before you told your dad you wanted to be a doctor. Was that always on the plans, or were there other things you wanted to be when you grew up as a young child?
Um, So I think a driving theme in my life was that I was always creative, and I loved to be creative, and I sang and I played the piano, and yeah, I had lots of creative streams, and I think they saw that as a strength of mine, and so their concept of being in medicine was completely not that, and so I think tried to lovingly guide me into things that were, in their world, in their understanding of what creative was, something like that. But you can be creative in so many ways. So
Yeah. So you mentioned music, you mentioned creativity. Like, who were your heroes or the people that you looked to when you were growing up as a kid?
um, you know, I loved early on. I'm a superhero guy. I love Superman. I actually love all superheroes. I know you do too, Nathan. You're smiling.
Who doesn't, right?
I know, right? So Superman was there. Yeah, some days I wanted to be a singer. Some days I wanted to be a movie star. Um, I was sporty, but like I didn't really want to be, like a football player or anything like that. I don't know why. Business was always in my family, so I thought maybe I'd be in business. Um, so I don't know that there was one person that inspired me, but I will tell you this: people that live their life in a big way always inspired me. People that were excellent at what they did, and it really didn't matter what it was. I thought that was so cool. So, looking at the landscape of people who showed excellence in their life was like, wow, isn't that amazing? And so, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do this, just to be able to see and be inspired by people who live their life in a big way. Like that was super cool to me. And it still is. It's inspiring to me. Like we're all so different. Live your life in a big way. That's amazing, right?
It is awesome. And I want to put you on the spot a little bit here. Growing up as a kid, tell me a funny story or something funny that happened to you, or a story that you remember from being a kid in Calgary and part of your youth.
Oh man. I think I grew up, and I was busy. My mom told me I was busy, and so I think telling my mom what can I do, so many times at home at sort of being like 3 and 4 years old, she said, "You know what, sweetheart, you just couldn't go to school because you're driving me like a little bit crazy." So like at 4 years old, I went to school. Actually, I started off in Montessori, and I got kicked out of Montessori. True story. And the reason is because I pinched the teacher's ass. And,
Oh,
yeah, but it was quite innocent.
yeah.
My friend, every time she used to bend over to help a child, would just kind of go like and make that face. And I'd be like, she just doesn't respond. Like, what is wrong with her? Her butt is dead. And so, and so I thought, wow, I'm just going to try it. And so, and I did it, and she just, wow. And I'll never forget her name, Mrs. Moshupi. And she screamed. And of course, my friend was like pretending, but like, that was wicked. Why would you do that? So I wasn't pretending. I actually did it. And then I got kicked out, and then I like peed my pants, and it was a whole thing. So Mrs. Moshupi said, I think it's time for Cory to go into grade 1. I think he's ready. So I think I spent like 2 months in Montessori, and then grade 1 at 4. So, and I would see her every, couple years, and she remembered me, and I'd be like, oh. So, so I got hurried along by both my mother and Mrs. Moshupi.
Tell me in those years, following elementary school and high school, who was your first love, and where are they today, if you know?
You know what? I actually have to tell you that my first, I know it sounds super cheesy, but I wouldn't say that I loved anybody. Liked, maybe, but not loved until I met my wife. So I would say Nadine for sure was my first love. And that is a true story. And I met her when I was in residency. So although I don't know, I was just busy. I was always busy. I had so many things on the go. I didn't. Maybe it was a late bloomer. High school. first 4 years, 8 years of university, working hard. It was just sort of like we were so every single evening booked, and I think it's exactly what I'm going to do for my kids. Keep them busy. Keep them busy.
So tell me, growing up out west, who was your first celebrity crush?
Well, I have to tell you and to be honest with you guys, like nobody gets it in the East. We call Toronto East. When you were from the West, you call Toronto East, right? You're in Central Canada. But like nobody gets country music here. And country music is actually like a big deal in the West and in certain places in the United States. It's a big deal, like in around Nashville. And I got really into it when like Shania Twain first came out. I have to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I was hugely into Shania Twain. I actually got to go to her concert in the Saddle Dome when it was the Saddle Dome, and I got sort of taken down by the security because she came around in the stadium and like slapping hands with some people. And of course, like my hand is up ready to go, and she totally missed me. And I mean, it was a mistake, I'm sure. But I grabbed her leg and kind of went, Shania, and like there was no touchy with Shania. So boom, the security came down on me. Yeah, so it was for sure Shania. I don't know what's happened with her today. Like I have to say, that celebrity crush is not there anymore. But have you seen her lately, guys?
She needs to come see you.
Yeah. Yeah, some people do not age well. Anyways, sorry, Shania.
Tell me, now that I know that you sing, what is the last song you sing in the shower?
The last song that I sang in the shower?
Yes.
Ooh. I make up songs. I make up songs, so it'd be nothing that you know, right? Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Like I was, I played piano and sang a lot, and we even recorded a little album and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's another creative expression. So nothing that you would know, but there's always some sort of lyric in my head. But who do I like lately?
Well, let me put you on the spot then. Now that I know one of your hidden talents, I mean, I kind of had heard, but now that I know one of your hidden talents and that you write songs and lyrics, why don't you give me a couple of lines, thing on the spot about Skinterviews?
A couple of lines that I would put to music.
Yes.
You wish.
I thought you were really going to go into it there. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'll give you a little flash here, but no song. That's right.
Tell me the last lie you told your children.
I really have some, terrible eating habits, and during the day, like I'm super busy. Generally, we don't have time to pee or have a lunch. So what I would often do is buy like a huge bag of candy, and then just have it like under in one of the drawers or something, and just grab a couple and then just go, and then it's just a little bit of sugar, right? A little coffee, a little candy, super healthy. And this is why I need better skincare. So my kids, my kids, I don't know, it was like Halloween, and Nadine and I are very cautious about how much candy that they're having, and then they're always getting so much. But I actually took their candy and have to tell you, I ate most of it. And they're like, "Daddy, you took it. I know you took it, Daddy." And I'm like, I so didn't take it. And then like, honestly, I'm the worst liar. They're like, "You're lying," and then they know all my stashes, and of course they find it. So yeah, it's candy for sure. It's candy.
That's
So
amazing.
talking a little bit about food and cooking, if you were to host three people in the world, living or
Yeah.
dead,
Yeah.
firstly, who would they be? And secondly, if you were going to cook for them or if you were going to order takeout, what would you order or what would you cook, and why would you pick those people?
Hmm. Wow. Influencers. I'm interested in influencers. So there's lots of them. I think three is a small number. I would do more. Justin Bieber is an influencer, and I would have him at dinner. Um, Jordan Peterson is an influencer, and I would probably have him at for dinner. And I don't know, Madonna. I'm going to say Madonna. Yeah, it's probably Madonna, and she's an influencer too. But yeah, maybe Madonna.
And what are you going to cook, guys? Are you going to cook or are you going to order in or?
No, no, it's all relational. So I'm cooking. Um, I don't make a lot of things extremely well, but I like my meat sauce is amazing, and so it's going to be like an amazing pasta with amazing meat sauce, and it's going to be with some wine, and it's just going to be relational and simple, and nothing over the top, and yeah, that's what it would be.
So I've met you on a few numerous occasions now, Corey, and we often meet up at events and corporate events and stuff like that. And I know one of your hobbies or things to do in your spare time is going to the gym. Like, are there any other hobbies that you like to do to relax and in your spare time that sort of take your mind off the busy lifestyle that you live in your professional world?
Yeah, so like I said, there are different seasons for how much personal time you get to take. There are seasons. This is one in particular where it's on the bare minimum. So working out is something that is my time. I love it. It helps me to clear my brain. It is yeah. I've always loved it. I always enjoy it. It's been obviously a little bit have to be creative with quarantine. But I enjoy music, and so whether I am on the piano writing something out, or playing or singing, something like that. What else? If it wasn't COVID, my wife and I would love to be at a spa once a month, maybe twice, or every weekend. And we enjoy food. Like, we enjoy to eat. We enjoy the creativity of Toronto's an awesome place for food, and so those kinds of things that I would enjoy. You you have a hard time to make me sit still. So although if I get into a book, it takes me a little while to sit still to enjoy it. It would take me a bit, just to read for pleasure. But so that doesn't happen a lot. What about you?
Me, I'm similar to you, really. Like, I
Yeah.
love working out. Like, we always cross paths in the gym when we're at
I know,
conferences and
right?
stuff like that. Like, for me, I'm a huge extrovert, so I'm all about out with the friends. I love going to restaurants and pubs or having people over, and very similar to you. Your kids are a little bit older than mine, but I have two young girls, so I spend a lot of time with them in the weekends. And before COVID, work was so busy, right? I was traveling a lot, and so when I'm home, I like to spend time with the family at home. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's really. I'm guessing you're the same when it comes to family as well.
Family is our priority right now, and you have children, and they don't raise themselves, and so you have to be intentional about it. You have to be intentional about everything in your life. So we I could be busier at work, but we've always made it a priority that I have breakfast with them and leave. Um, before they leave in the morning, and I'm home, and I always have dinner with them every night. So it is a priority. And I have some colleagues who work until 9 o'clock, and they work on the weekends, and just never see their kids. Um, and then everybody says, they don't want to see after they're 13, 14 years old. I don't want that. You create an environment as you want it. So Nadine and I put a huge emphasis upon that, which is why the personal hobby thing doesn't work out so well in this season. But we dream about it. We dream about it.
I love that, and I love that you're a family guy, and I think that's one of the great things about you. And so, a young guy growing up in Calgary, you come to Toronto. What do you think, in your opinion, was the defining moment that led you into the medical aesthetics field?
I did my PhD in neuroscience, and when I came to medical school, I knew I was surgical. I knew I was a fixer and a doer, and I think there's that general divide between medicine and surgery, the kinds of problems that you like to solve. So I knew I was surgical, but what I explored it. Was it neurosurgery? Was it plastic surgery? Was it head and neck surgery or orthopedics? And I very, very quickly found out that I enjoyed a little bit more of the precision. And the kinds of experiences that you get early on are very, very big hospitals. So they're not, representative of the landscape of what you can go into. But boy, oh boy, I remember, first or second year medical school, getting to help to close a case, and I got to sew the incision closed, and I just was so excited to make it as beautiful as I could, because so really that it was just so inspiring. I just wanted to make it beautiful. And I love beauty. I love everything's beautiful. I wouldn't let my mom go out of the house without her hair done and her earrings on. I'm like, where are you going? Like, what? Like, there are standards. There are standards. This is just me, And so, so I just very much connected with, the artistry that went into the surgery, and I'm like, that is what I am all about. And then I just pursued it. You have to work harder to get into certain kinds of programs in medicine than others. And so I figured out what I needed to do, and you got to put your nose to the grindstone to get there. And but it was awesome journey.
So one last question before I let George take on a bit more about your profession. But just talk me through about the industry. And a lot of you top surgeons work so hard at what you do. You're very, very creative, but it also comes with a price that you're under the microscope a lot of the time. So what is like one thing in this profession that you wished everyone knew about?
Well, I think generally when people think about cosmetic surgery, they think about money or people being botched or things that are frivolous and irrelevant. I remember working so hard and getting into doing this extra project here, and in the evenings going and spending time with this doctor so that I could do a research project, so that I could have a paper, so that I could get to the next level. There was always so much extra work to be able to do, to be able to get where you wanted to go, because maybe they pick one or two people. right? And that's in maybe 5 in Canada. So you really, really have to be better and work harder and be more organized than your colleagues who are wicked smart. And so I think that piece right there, people don't understand that generally the plastic, facial plastics, those cosmetic surgeons are there because they work their butt off to get there, and it's really, really hard to get in. But it is not because it is frivolous. And I always used to say, like, who do you remember? Do you remember the surgeon who did your nose job, or do you remember the surgeon who take out your appendix? Nobody remembers the the surgeon who takes out their appendix. You don't. People equate value to what they value and what they care about. And so, yeah, I think people don't understand that,
What's something that really pisses you off about our industry? Something gets you really angry, get your grind going, where you just want to lay it out.
So unfortunately, because the industry is lucrative and it's about money, people are very, very, I think it's probably like many industries that are lucrative. I remember being invited to a conference, and it was an industry conference, and it was mostly dermatologists. And I think, one of the random surgeons that got involved. And it was in Jamaica. It was amazing because the group of people were and these dermatologists, they were so collegial, they were so helpful to each other, they were so warm, and they sat at the table, and I was just like, wow, this is awesome. I'm not used to this. Surgeons are mean. Surgeons are backstabbing. They're competitive. And I think probably it's the breed. The surgeons tend to be a little bit more, I'm the boss, you listen to me. AAA personalities. I think that's probably has something to do with it. They're leaders, and you get too many leaders in one place, and they fight. So that's what pisses me off. That and the money makes the industry, the colleagues, very, very, competitive with each other. And I think I think the opposite. I think we should be competitive with ourselves. I think that we should be our very best, that we should, our internal drive should be what pushes us, not that somebody else, is more successful than you, and then you're jealous. And so jealousy is a big deal. So that's really what pisses me off. The jealousy and the backstabbing. It doesn't need to happen. In my brain, Canadians are extremely well trained. We should be the world leaders. We should be a great cohesive team, whatever, if it's injectables or skincare or surgery, showing people how it's done, and rather than being so petty. So it's really, really about that. And I have to tell you, I have some great friends in my industry, but they're few and far between are the ones that I super trust, and that's sad to say.
I feel like there's a few really interesting backstories to all that. And I would love to call them all out on the show for the ratings, but
you're so perceptive. Sure.
Well, it's either I'm perceptive or I've heard of them, right? You never know. We'll talk about that off camera. We know that it's a competitive industry. We know that there are, people with success comes enemies, unfortunately. And I don't know if it's just one industry or all industries. And knowing that, and knowing how hard it is to navigate through this industry, tell me somebody that you do look up to in this industry, so we could take it on the positive side of things.
Well, I'm not going to name one person per se, but I would tell you the people that I look up into this industries are the ones that They don't care about what people think. Okay, so they're not driven by that, and they're innovators, and they're looking for the next. They're creative. They're looking for what's new. They're thoughtful, and yeah. So the innovators are the ones that I look up to. Like I don't want to do what my neighbor's doing. That's boring. Where's it going? What else can we create? Those ones are the ones that live on the edge, and they often will irk people because they maybe don't fit into the pattern. But those are the people that I think are the most interesting, because they change. They're changers. They change the industry, and they think laterally, and they solve problems. And those are the ones that I look up to. I want to do that.
I love that. And I want to say, before we throw it back to Nathan here, that I love the fact that you are somebody that is both humorous, grounded, eccentric, earthly, flying high, all in one. And we've seen so many different aspects of you. I know you much more professionally. I'm getting to know you personally now, but I've also seen a humorous side to you. Talk to me about the 147,000 views on your parody video of "I Can't Feel My Face."
That one got me in trouble.
Why? No way.
Do you know, it really did. So everyone's asking, what can we do that's a little bit different? How do we stand out? And I'm creative, and at my core, who would I say? I might say I would be an artist. I'm an artist, and so how that plays out. If I didn't do cosmetic surgery, maybe I'd be a shoe designer, or maybe I would be an architect. It's form and function. True story. But we thought, what? Why don't we do something that incorporates a little bit of silliness, a little bit of tongue in cheek to our industry? And so actually, I'm the one singing on that. Nadine changed the lyrics to "I Can't Feel Your Face." And we thought, let's make it like a dance video, and let's do something different. And I have to tell you that like 98% of the feedback, and it was so much fun, I have to tell you, and we used our staff. 98% of the feedback was like, wow, that's so fun. We so enjoyed that. You made me smile. And then like 2% got so offended. No, they got so offended. No, it's true. I got kicked off the facial plastics. The facial plastic at the University of Toronto. Yeah.
Wow.
They thought it was. They thought it was. Maybe not like unbecoming of a doctor. And I thought, wow, really?
Well,
so you offend some people. I have seen things that were a lot more offensive on Instagram. I have to be honest with you, by some of the things that get posted. I thought it was clean, but it's one of those things where you're never going to please everybody, and you just have to be true to what you did and what you feel. And I have no regrets. I absolutely am so glad I did that. And it was one of those things that was productive pain, but it was productive, let me tell you.
I thought it was fun. And I think that
So
was I thought that was the purpose of it. So I thought
it was just to be fun, right?
It was brilliant fun. Humorous.
Thank you. Well, if you're not getting in a little bit of trouble, you're doing something wrong.
Exactly.
I'll be like, Dr. Torgerson said I got to get in a little bit of trouble, because
just a little bit.
Right.
There you go.
So before I touch on COVID, I just want to talk to the viewers who may be watching tonight or in the morning or whenever they're watching this, who haven't had the opportunity to meet you. And I've been lucky enough to meet you on several occasions right now. And I've also been lucky enough to meet your wife. And I must say that I think the next few months that this country or this world is about to go through, I think we really need people like your wife and yourself in this world, because you guys are such leaders. And I say that in a way of, if you strip you guys down and take away the fact that you're very successful business owners, you're a very successful surgeon, the numerous times I've met you, I can't say that I've never felt warmer in my life. And I think that the two of you are such genuine people. And this is what George and I are trying to create with this platform of Skinterviews. We're trying to highlight the great people of our industry and the people that are going to help collaborate this industry and bring this out of this tough time. And it goes back to the old saying of that smile in the morning to someone that you don't know can go a long way. And I have to say that every time I've met you, and I don't know how you do it, and I wish I could put my finger on it, and your wife has the same ability as well. You just have such a warm nature that you give off to the people that are in that circle, the group that you're around. And I thank you so much for that. And let's go into COVID now with that, because as an industry and as a world, we're about to embrace a huge time, and there's a lot of changes we're going to have to make as individuals, but as societies, and also in business. And I was just wondering, what are you doing personally and from a business perspective to change your ways or pivot around this ugly virus that's hit the world? And I'd love you to talk more to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for what you said about that, about me and my wife. So this is what we feel about COVID. I was speaking to somebody, and they were asked, "When is this going to be over?" And she said, "That's not the question to ask. The question to ask is, what are you doing in this season, in this time, to change so that when we are over, you're in a position of strength and power and difference, and you're going to look different." And I think that that's really, really been Nadine's and my focus. I don't think the world is going to be the same after. I think things are being, in every, industry in our world, shaken a lot. Economics is shaken, media is shaken, politics are shaken. Just how we interact socially, and we're doing this, via the internet, shaken. And so we have really, really just approached this season to say, okay, what's working about our lives personally? What's not working? What do we need to sift out? What needs to go by the wayside, and what do we need to be embraced? This is like a time like no other. We may never get it again, where we can really be personally introspective. Like how often do you get to sit and read or really deliberate about yourself and think, you know what? How my wife and I get along isn't so fantastic. There's a couple of issues that we're having, or how my partner and I are getting along. This isn't working. What about myself? This is a perfect time to be able to go through that and to be able to make some changes. And it's the same in business. What's working about our business? What is totally not working about our business? And what do we need to take away? And what do we need to open up? So to have this time to be able to plan, to be able to reorganize, is probably, in my brain, the most exciting thing that you can do right now to be productive, so that when it's over, you are hitting the ground running. You got a plan. You're organized. Maybe you've done some learning. Maybe you've done some, training. You've taken some webinars. I don't know. But we should come out of this season changed. We should come out of this season charged and ready to go for what comes next. And none of us know what comes next. But we can be smart about how we're organized. We can be smart about where we're, putting some of our resources, so that we're going to hit and ride the wave, and then be leaders. Because I want you to know, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to fall, and they're never going to get up, and they're going to be out of the industry, and there's going to be some shifts for sure.
Sure. Let's talk about mental health, because listening to just what you said now, and the fact that you and your life partner is also your business partner, and you have to deal with not just what happens at work, but at home, and then you have your home children, and of course your work children, which are your staff. Mental health is
our children. I love that. That's great.
You got it. You are. I mean, being at the top of the game in both households. You know, the two of you. You got to be able to be clear headed and show clear direction for all your staff. How do you deal with some of the mental health issues that we all face, both personally and professionally? And two, how hard is it to work with your partner?
Oh, good question. Let me answer the last one first. I don't know that it's for everybody, but I have to tell you, working with Nadine is a privilege. Um, I love it when she's there. I hate it when she's not there. We are both strong personalities. I'm not going to lie. Um, but we have figured out that we have to, delegate certain responsibilities and certain things that I'm the boss of, and certain things that she's the boss of. We talk a lot, we communicate a lot, and sometimes we just let each other be. And so there's definitely a read of that, but I have to tell you, who's got my back more than my wife? She's got a vested interest in making it work. And so, there's a lot of flexibility that goes both ways, but it's the best thing ever. I feel like if you can synergize with your partner, and you can still, not just love each other, but like each other, that's the best. That's an amazing thing to be able to find someone that you can do that with. It is amazing. In terms of mental health and our staff, Nadine and I try to model everything. We're modeling how we dress when we come to work. We are modeling how we speak with patients. We are modeling how we interact with people, our colleagues. We're modeling how we deal with problems and disappointments that they see it, because we live our life in front of them. We're modeling how we're doing everything. And so one of the things that we try to do is bring in some people that their specific job in our clinic is to be there to talk. We call them intercessors. They're basically people that we have on staff that are there. We pay for them, and their whole job is to be supportive to our staff, to us, to our patients if they want, and whether that is just to listen, or whether that is to pray, whatever. We call them intercessors, but they're really, really there as a support to help. So if you had a problem, if you were on my staff, you could come and talk to Nadine and me and sit down and talk about it, or you could just call up one of these people and they're at your disposal. And we did that on purpose to be able to say, hey, we create the culture at Sovereign MD, and the culture at Sovereign MD is that you want to come to work because it's fun and because you feel supported and it's a great place to work. And then you give me your best.
I love that. I really love that. And that's probably why that environment of which one that I described at the very beginning, right before we brought you on the show, that warmth, that great feeling of walking into your clinic is really present amongst both yourselves and across all the staff. So yeah, great. Wow.
Thank you.
And we're going to get into the end of our interview now. I want to get into, we call this just our quick fire questions. So I'm going to ask you some rapid questions. You're going to answer as quickly as you can with as little thought as possible.
Yeah.
And are you ready to go?
Yep, you hit at me.
All right. Red or blue?
Blue.
Black or white?
Black.
Champagne or wine?
Champagne.
Mom or dad?
Mom.
Favorite drink?
Ooh, whiskey sour.
Burgers or pizza?
Burgers.
Steak or lobster?
Steak.
Stuck in isolation for 12 more weeks. Who do you take with you? One person.
Oh, snap.
Anyway,
Nadine,
coffee or tea?
coffee.
Nathan or me?
Both.
He really wanted to say me, but he felt bad for you.
You guys are both pretty. It is true.
I sincerely want to thank you for giving us your time. I know that you are a very busy individual with 3 children at home, an entire business, a very successful business. And for those of you that are watching our episode that are in the Toronto area, I implore you to go see this beautiful clinic and pay respect to the artistry of the clinic alone. If you don't want to see Dr. Torgerson, you don't want to see his services, fine, whatever, you can go somewhere else. But respect the artistry and the time and the effort to develop the space, the staff, the feeling, the effect of everything that goes in there. You'll really understand what I'm talking about when you go see the place. It's absolutely worth the visit. Dr. Torgerson, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You already know I'm a huge fan, and I love Nadine. I work with Nadine more than I get to work with you because you're always so busy. So I really appreciate the hour you gave us today.
Just two questions before you go, mate. I can't leave you without asking 2 quick questions. One is your current skincare routine.
Oh, well, Nadine would say that that I'm a little bit more high maintenance than her, and I would say that as well. So like I feel like I'm very, very like on it. And so if I came, from a flight and I got in at 4:00 in the morning, I would do it. And then I would also do it in the morning. If I am going to far, far away, I actually know people that, take their products and put them into like little kind of things. So what? Like, honestly, I just bring everything. And so like I have a lot. So, I know that you guys have association with a great company called Vivier. I am in love with this skincare line, I have to tell you. So this is what I do. In the morning time, we're going to put on, after I shave, I'm going to put on my Grenzine serum, and then I do the Grenzine eye and the Grenzine neck, and I put a little Ultimage on, let that dry because you need to let it dry. And then put a little bit of the glycolic, the Forte. I just feel like I got to, do that. I don't know why. And then at nighttime, medicated wash. I'm doing the toner. I'm doing the AHA, and I'm doing the Forte, and then doing the retinol. And then, if I have a little breakout, some of the acne stuff. That's pretty much it for now. And then occasionally, the sunscreen. You got to be good with the sunscreen, right? So
that's an extensive regime.
Skincare
it is true. I think I probably buy more than anybody else. Yeah.
And
I like that body one as well. I do like the body one, but I'm a bit conflicted about which part of your body you're supposed to put it on. Like, is it where? Like what?
Wherever you need thicker skin.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
And lastly, before we finally let you go, who would you like to see on the show? And are you able to help us get that individual on the show so we can interview them as well?
Absolutely. Who do you need to see? Well, who have you seen? Have you seen Martin? Have you seen Martin Judenberg yet?
No.
Oh, he would be Dr. Six would be cool. I think he would be interesting. Sure. I could help you with that one. Somebody that's going to give you an interesting interview, right?
Okay, yeah. We'll talk to you after the show, and we'll make that happen with you.
Let's do it.
Interesting personalities. If you guys want to get to know Dr. Torgerson more, make sure that you follow Sovereign MD on Instagram. You can also see Dr. Torgerson's personal pages, drtorgerson.com. His personal Instagram, Cory Torgerson. Thank you so much for being here today. Dr. Torgerson, it's been such a pleasure. Nathan, we got our first one done. We loved it. I'm so excited about what's to come. We have an amazing lineup in the weeks to come. We're doing 2 or 3 of these a day, I think, right now. So big names are coming, great interviews are coming. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want you to follow. We can only get better from here. Make sure if you think there's someone that should be on our show, I want you to go over to our Instagram or our Facebook page. Search us up, skin.terviews, and send us a DM of who you think should be on or what you'd want to know. Maybe you're not the camera type. You want us to ask the question for you. That's all you got to do. Click away and send us a message. You can definitely find us on our professional pages as well on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Skinterviews by Nathan and George. Once again, thank you for watching. Take care of your families. Love each other. Love the world we live in today. We're all experiencing this on a global scale. And so, therefore, the only way we can come out of this is together and loving each other and loving thy neighbor. See you on the next episode of Skinterviews.